Hello, welcome back to another episode of Done Simply. I'm your host, Achyut Nair. Today's episode is the first installment of Courageous Katy, a series in which each episode I'll talk to with extraordinary people who excel in their respective region, from sports to academics, and more. Since these are the interviews, some folks might want a video version of it, so we're starting a YouTube channel called Done Simply. For those of you who still like listening to it, you can still listen to it from your podcast hub. Anyways, today we're going to talk to Abbhinav Jayarman, the Valedictorian of Morton Ranch. So, firstly, congratulations on this great achievement, and we wish you the very best on your journey. Um, for those in the audience who don't know you, could you please tell us something about yourself, like academic-wise?
Academics wise, well, I kind of just went through high school, took mostly AP classes, graduated valedictorian. Not much to it. It is what it is.
That is very interesting, but I have to ask you, since the audience knows that you're excellent in academics, they want to know what you did outside of school. So what were some extracurricular activities that you did, or like hobbies?
Well, I did a little bit of volunteering outside of school, as well as enrolling in joining my school's robotics team, as well as playing tennis for my varsity tennis team.
That's really cool. Really, that actually seems really, really time packed. So that raises the question: what did your typical day look like? How did you start your day? How did you end your day?
Usually, I'd wake up for school, get ready, go to school, and then near like seventh period or near the end of the day, we would go out to the tennis courts for tennis practice. And then I would go home, shower, do homework, and then by around like 6:30, I would head back to the STEAM Center in Katy, and I would do like 2 hours of work in the robotics shop, and then by like 8:30, I'd head home. Sometimes it would be a lot later, especially like as we got near to competition season.
So you said that you did tennis, and what sparked your interest in tennis?
Mostly because I started at like a very young age, like around like 6 years old or something.
Wow.
I really liked the sport, but then I would like switch around to other sports. But eventually, as I got into high school, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a sport, and I picked up back with tennis.
Yeah, that seems really cool. And you said you went to the STEAM Center for Robotics. Like,
Yeah,
uh, could you describe your general experience in robotics?
it was really fun. It was mostly like since unlike other schools like Cinco Ranch or like Tompkins or Seven Lakes, Morton Ranch's robotics team is very tight knit and small. So it was mostly like kind of like a family to me.
It was a small community, and
Yeah.
did you stand out among this small group, or were you one of the crowd?
I mean, I guess I kind of stood out. There's not many people, so everyone kind of stands out. We had like at least like at the highest or the biggest numbers that we've ever had were like 13 or 12 on our team.
That's extremely small.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
so back to the managing thing. Like how many activities you had. It seems really tight packed. So when did you finally understand the concept of like time management, and how did you master it?
I never did. I tried my best.
So
Usually I would just try to make sure that like all my grades are okay, or that like it's not necessarily how much time you spend, but like how much time you spend actually understanding. Because you can spend like hours studying something but not understand it at all, but like spend only a little bit of time and then it just clicks. So mainly just make sure that whatever time you do have that you do spend on your activities or your academics, that you spend it like thoroughly focused and stuff like that.
well, Abhi, since most of my audience are freshmen with no absolute idea of what high school would be like, they really want to know three things that made you really successful. What were the three things that like made you stand out amongst everyone else?
Mostly, I mean, freshman year was very interesting because I don't know about y'all, but we didn't really take AP classes in freshman year, but I did. I took AP computer science. That really helped me to kind of like adjust to how an AP class would be. So I got like used to how that sort of rhetoric would work out and kind of adapted to it. First of all, time management. Try to manage your time as best as you can in terms of like focusing on school, getting enough sleep. Like freshman year shouldn't be that hard in terms of like work and stuff. So you should be able to get enough sleep, and also taking a break. You need to be able to take a break once in a while, because just going through school and just like grinding all the time is not a good mindset.
Okay, so what kind of mindset do you have since you mentioned that? Like, do you like work sometimes and then like work hard, play hard
Work
mentality?
hard, play hard. I would definitely say that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I kept a very good balance as I focused on keeping a lot of my grades up and maintaining my rank, especially as I approached senior year. In hindsight, I could have afforded to relax a little bit and enjoy my time outside of school a bit more. Like maybe spend times with friends. Because there was like times where I was like, okay, I could do this. I could focus on this for school or for like robotics. Because at the end of the year, in senior year, I was the leader of the team. So there's things I would have to do, some other responsibilities. Or I was like, oh, I could go hang out with friends. So there's that kind of conflict. I chose my responsibilities over my friends. In hindsight, I probably should probably didn't need to do that. But
So
just think considering how things turned out with COVID.
yeah, so two things that you mentioned from there. You said that you were the leader of robotics. How did you feel like what well, how did people look up to you when you said you were like the leader?
Well, I wasn't the leader. I was just the only person from the previous year that remained on the team because everyone else was seniors
Yeah.
in the previous year. So me being a junior, when the team moved on to the next year, I was the only one remaining. So I
They looked
was
up to you.
yeah, they kind of, but they looked for me to like for information and how things worked. So I kind of had to guide them a bit on how things worked as best as I could.
And secondly, you said that you had to keep your rank. And then it seems like you're like addressing it like a football when you're running across like the touchdown. It's like you had to hold it onto you. And how stressful was it when you like said that you had to hold your rank really against other people?
I stressed out a lot more than I needed to. That's what I can say. Because in the end, there wasn't much. There wasn't much to it. I didn't need to put all the effort that I did. But I mean, you never really know until when the race is finally over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's enough about high school. So we're gonna talk about college now. So which college did you decide to go to?
I decided to go to UT Austin.
UT Austin? That's really good. But was that your first choice?
No, I first applied to I had like a rank of like 4 schools. I didn't really apply out of state because it's too expensive to do that. So first I was like, let me apply. I would like to get into Rice, then UT Austin, and then I was like A&M, which are like a close second. I couldn't really decide between which one was better. They both have really good pros and cons. But then I got rejected from Rice. It is what it is. And then I was deciding between UT and A&M
Yeah.
because I didn't really know what I wanted to do for my major. And then I eventually decided I was going to go with computer science. So I chose UT Austin because UT Austin is really good for computer science.
Computer science. So you said that it was your major. In what class and grade did you decide that CS was going to be your choice?
I didn't really decide until like really late into senior year because I was still like deciding between UT or A&M. And at that point, I was like, should I go into computer science or should I go into like some form of engineering? Because like from the start, I knew that I wanted to do something like technology based. But I didn't know like what I was actually going to go into. That's the thing with majors, especially in like the STEM field. You can do whatever you want and take pretty much any major you want and get any job you want. It doesn't there's no like defined boundaries like, oh, I'm a computer science major, I graduated as a computer science major,
You
and
can
then
go
I
and work at
have
a
to get
hospital. Yeah.
yeah, you could just work you can end up doing like an engineering job or something like that.
Yeah.
So I chose computer science mostly because it had like the widest band of application for me, at least.
Did your parents support your decision on computer science and your college?
Yeah, they weren't very pushy about like, oh, you should do or like how the Indian brown stereotype of like you should go to medical school or something like that, become a doctor. Now that my mom did say like, oh, you should consider it, and I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not doing that.
Why didn't you decide to go into the medical field?
It's not for me, especially since you have to spend so much time studying, not actually working. So I was like, I'll just not do that.
You want more
But
hands-on experience.
yeah, it's a lot. You require a lot of experience, and there's so many tests.
So you said that you're going to go into a technology like based job. So is that your career path? Are you going to go into like something that's going to help the world in like tech wise?
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Still haven't really figured out how I'm gonna get there, but I'll figure it out eventually. That's the big thing about like college. Sometimes most of the time you don't really know what you're gonna do or how you're gonna get there. But way I look at it is like you look at what you want to do in the future and try to find the best path towards there. You start at the end and like work backwards. And there'll be people like along the way that'll help advise you for those sort of things.
Well said. Well, to wrap it up, since most people that listen to this are high schoolers who don't know what their career path is going to be, what is your advice to these people who don't know how they're going to end up in life?
I would say don't worry about it too much. Because I mean, y'all are in most of your listeners are in like freshman year, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it too much. You'll figure it out. Just explore your interest. That's the most important thing. Don't like go through like high school putting things on your resume just for the sake, oh, it'll look good on my resume. No, just do things you find interesting. Like if there's something that you've always been interested but never really explored, go try. At least try. Try to go into it and figure out your interests, find what you want to do in life. And it doesn't have to be like set in stone and decided by then. It just has to be like a general like idea of what you want, what you're interested in, and what you like and what you don't like. So, yeah.
So when you mentioned that you just do the things that you enjoy, was robotics one of those things? Like
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a very hands-on experience where we got to build a lot of things, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, that is it for this episode. Remember to subscribe. Remember to subscribe. Share this with your friends and family and stay safe. Goodbye.